Hello to the amazing women who are part of our worldwide Force for Good family. For the last few months, I've been living in relative isolation on my cattle ranch in Oregon. It's located a long way off the beaten path, with the nearest store an hour's drive on a dirt road. The ranch is nestled between wide open grass valleys and jutting pine forests surrounded by breathtaking gorges of volcanic rock. I've been living surrounded by majesty as far as the eye can see. Now, I'm not the only one who revels in this paradise. I share this sacred place with elk, deer, cougars, bear, coyote, wolves, buffalo, wild turkey, and of course, my horse and cows. On an early morning horse ride, I spotted this speckled fawn tucked in and staying as still as could be, hoping not to be noticed. My double-wide trailer is perched with a view of my lake where I often see golden eagles swooping along the water's edge, then floating higher and higher until it seems they cross effortlessly from this world to the next, only to return again to repeat that magical dance. Out of the 59 species of eagles, golden eagles fly highest and most graceful. Eagles have symbolized power throughout history, crossing cultural boundaries and traditional beliefs. The largest bald eagle only weighs between 8 or 10 pounds, yet tight in its talons, a raptor can lift an entire tree branch and still manage to soar. When it grows tired on the way back to its nest, it's wise enough to stop to rest. It then does something even wiser. It discards the weight of any unnecessary burdens, plucking away smaller twigs or cumbersome clusters of leaves. There's a lesson in that behavior, to discard what weighs us down and zaps our power. Should a storm arise, the eagle will not seek shelter like other birds. Instead, it flies straight into the wind, letting the updraft carry it higher and higher until the air current is literally the wind beneath its wings. Nature inspires me. And you know, I want to say something about how important it is for each of us to find that little slice of nature where we may be one with the world. To find ourselves in the most ancient of human conditions, with nothing but stillness in our own minds, with the earth and the wind and the trees. Existing in this stillness these past months is where I have clearly heard my own voice talking gently and intently to myself. The sweep and pull of every new dawn powers me up, if you will, to be creative, engaged, and inspired. You inspire me. We come from different backgrounds, have different colored hair, live in different places, but Nu Skin has brought us together because we share a dream of making our lives matter. Before that day in June of 1984, when we officially launched Nu Skin International with little more than a commitment to our dreams, I had been preparing for that opportunity. Growing up on Long Island, New York, my parents were far from rich by worldly standards, but in the values and the things that I treasure the most, we were wealthy beyond measure. We lived small and dreamed big. My parents never sat me down and say, "Sandy, we're going to empower you to believe in yourself, to value hard work, and to cherish your life's dreams." Instead, they empowered me by modeling what a full and meaningful life looks like. First of all, they loved each other and us kids. And as my dad would say proudly in his New York accent, 4 daughters and a son. There's no greater power in that universe than love. It can start and stop wars. It can fuel the greatest creations. It can forge and mend relationships. And it can fill a child with limitless confidence. Family and faith were the foundations of my childhood. Mom tended to our home, keeping it clean and orderly, with meals timed to be set out on the table just as my dad pulled into the driveway after a long commute home following a full days of work. Mom's nurturing chores were traditional for the times, but she did not limit herself to the expectations of society. For her own empowerment, she worked from home as the accountant for my dad's boss. And with her extensive knowledge of the German language and the love of genealogy, she helped other people trace their family trees, becoming a professional genealogist. Dad was a master carpenter. And it's funny, the little things and memories and details you remember. My dad always carried a pencil in his shirt pocket with a little notepad to jot down his lists, visions, and ideas, all of which I saw him turn into realities. A backyard swing set built 2 stories high, a new kitchen for my mother, and later in life, my condo in New York City, tall enough to scrape the skies. He taught me the value of both hard work and smart work. My life is a tapestry woven of memories, thin, tangled, colorful threads, both unique and common. A favorite memory is being roused early, while the air was still dark and nippy, by my father's gruff yet tender voice rocking me from my sleep. "Sandy, wake up, it's time." Now, he didn't have to summon me twice. I plunged out of bed, hurried to brush my hair and teeth, and dress in layers that I'd peel off later when the sun chased back the chill. I lived for those early mornings when I got to go fishing, riding in a small boat in the bulrushes and marshes, launching from my grandparents' home out in the bay on stilts. The family station wagon was already packed with food my mother had prepared, fat sandwiches and red crisp apples in a thermos filled with hot chocolate. Dad and me floating in the boat and waiting for a fish to mistake a hook for his safe breakfast. We'd sometimes chat and sometimes sit in silence with only the screech of the seagulls and the sound of the water lapping to lull us into peace. I didn't know it then, but my father was empowering me, giving me an opportunity to learn and to grow, allowing me to discover who I was and to explore the possibilities of the woman I could become. Without a word, he told me that I belonged to him, that we were intrinsically joined and nothing could or would ever break our father-daughter bond. He was also showing me without a word that I belonged to something far greater than myself. Our little boat rolled on a sea, an expanse so grand it was difficult to tell where the water and the sky met. And somewhere in that tangle of memories, there was a moment when I knew that I had always existed and would never cease to be, that I was part of a greater whole, that as small as I was against that enormous sea, I mattered and was powerful enough to make a difference in the world. And that is my message to you, friends and family. You matter. You are powerful. And the differences in attitudes and energy you create in your world changes the entire world. Now, we talk about empowerment as like something that someone hands over to you with authority. But your truest power will never come from someone else. You were born with it, and it has always been rightfully yours. Your greatest power is your ability to choose what you do, how you feel, and who you become. Authentic power can never be taken from you. Now, I was once introduced as a powerhouse of a woman in a magazine, and it made me smile, because I alone know what I've done to have someone consider me powerful. I fished an ocean with my father, read enough books to fill a library, climbed back on a horse after getting bucked off. I've given my heart to love over and over again. I've risked my last dime to invest in my own dream. I've fallen to my knees countless times to offer thanks to a source that may be unseen but never unfelt. I've imagined homes and turned those mental images into buildings, gardens, orchards, barns where my loved ones gather to feel loved. Once, when New York City was in smoke and ashes, I invested in a home in the sky that others thought could never exist. But it does, and my grandchildren can touch the clouds from its magic tower. I've explored wonders of the world and will never stop exploring. I've slept in 5-star luxury hotels and at times called a tent trailer my home. I've lost my family home in a fire. I've given birth 4 times and mourned the loss of a child. I've buried both my parents. I've forged friendships from strangers who then became family to me. I've been a student and a teacher. I've designed parties for thousands and dinners for 2. I've been betrayed and learned the power of pardon. I've made mistakes and learned to forgive myself. I've laughed until I cried and cried until I was spent. Illness has taken me to the brink of death, only to be given another chance at life. I believe somewhere in these moments, I decided what kind of a life I really wanted. And then I said no to everything that wasn't that. Figuratively speaking, I've worn the highest heels while climbing the steepest mountains. When the world told me I couldn't, I told myself, yes, you can. And I did. Each one of you has experienced many of the things that I've mentioned and more, which causes me to believe that if I did it, you can do it too, if you know a few truths. First, life is a gift with no guarantee. Time is constantly surprising us, challenging us, and changing us. Rose Kennedy pointed out that life isn't made of milestones, but moments. So we can't afford to waste one, because opportunity seldom circles back. It's up to us to cherish every morning and to go to sleep at night knowing we've given all that there was to get out of that day that has passed. I recall the first time in my life when I felt truly powerless. I was young, newly married, dead broke, fresh out of college, when a nurse put a perfect little daughter in my arms and expected me to nourish her, nurture her, and empower her to empower herself one day. The only problem was I'd never even babysat my younger sibling or the neighborhood's children. I didn't know how to care for my infant daughter, but I'd never loved like that. And I was willing to do whatever it took. And that's what I did. And it all worked out. What a thought about life, to wait until you are ready. I have the feeling now that few people are ready to do anything. There's almost no such thing as ready. There's only now. Second, a meaningful life requires ingenuity, risk, and integrity. If you take a chance and find yourself stranded, you must be your own first responder to your own rescue. People who wait around for someone else to give them an opportunity, to provide a way, to toss a life preserver, they often drown in disappointment and confusion because it is up to us to kick hard and swim for the shore. I grew up in a home where I was taught that anything was possible for me, but opportunity must be created. I watched my father go off to work before I got out of bed to go to school. I accompanied my mother coupon shopping at the grocery store and to the bank where she added small amounts to a savings account so that when the holidays came around, there was money for family gifts. I went to college because I went to high school. I graduated high school because I did the homework. Books were and still are some of my best friends. Success happens when opportunity meets preparation. Regardless of our differences, we're in a sisterhood with one driving commonality: to live lives with true meaning. That begins the moment we begin to take control of our own destinies, to be our own superheroes. And now, if someone comes along to help, great. But if not, we don't stay where we fall. We rise up and we keep moving forward because we empower ourselves with thoughts we think, the attitudes we have, and the opportunities we create. I believe integrity is the foundation from which dreams rise highest. Another memorable line from my dad was, "Do a job, big or small, do it well or not at all." That was my father's motto, and I was happy to see it repeat itself in our family empowerment culture. My teenage granddaughter Zeta was weeding one morning in the hot sun, and someone suggested that she move to a shadier place. "Oh no, I'll finish where I started before I move on," she said. If only the world would adapt that attitude. Be ingenious and relentless in your dreaming. Take well-informed risks and be prepared to rescue yourself if need be. Honor your integrity. You can't live a meaningful life without it. Third, don't you dare limit the size of your dreams. We had the vast vision to call our barely regional business Nu Skin International. And just like that, our sisterhood means to dream big and then bigger. Believe in the dream. Don't forget to believe in the dreamer too. Like many of you, I was a young wife and new mother to 2 little girls when the Nu Skin dream took root inside my heart and head. It's no secret that others didn't believe I couldn't do it all, but I have an aversion to pessimism, And so I followed my own desire to stay relentlessly optimistic. I didn't give up, even when I wanted to, even when I discovered that I was pregnant with baby number 3 just a few months after we started Nu Skin. We built a team of like-minded dreamers. We stayed strong, and that strength is what has brought us together today. Your dreams, your resilience, your abilities are the planet's greatest resources. Now, this wouldn't be my message if I neglected my signature motto, motivated by love. Whatever it is, if you're doing it for anything less than love, you're not as empowered as you might be. Over 20 years ago, our dream expanded because our hearts expanded when we established the Nu Skin Force for Good Foundation. We wanted Nu Skin's success to contribute to the health, education, and economic opportunity for impoverished children around the world. Because of your generosity and heart, millions of children have benefited and are now beginning to pay it forward themselves. Empower one person from a place of love, and the whole world changes. From the start, we knew that Nu Skin's innovative products wouldn't just improve outward appearances. They change minds, hearts, and lives. We provide economic opportunity for betterment. But the rise isn't without a risk. No one begins as a Team Elite member. Empowerment grows with our willingness to learn, to change, and to improve. I'm proud to be part of an international force for good with you. We are a family that empowers each other to live meaningfully, to dream big, and to achieve more. I love witnessing all those moments of empowerment as we openly and genuinely congratulate one another on our successes, all the while banding together in support as we mourn the loss of a loved one and offer solutions to roadblocks. We support each other, we come together, and I can't tell you how much this inspires me and how proud I am that we together have created such an incredible community of empowerment. The other day I went for a long walk with my 4-year-old granddaughter in the same woods that I've spotted golden eagles. If they'd circled above us, I might have pointed them out, but it was little Wren who taught me something about empowerment. She kept quoting her mother's wisdom. Mommy said this, and Mommy says that, even when she was trying to get me to give her a cookie before dinner. When I hesitated, this is what I heard. But Tutu, my mommy says cookies are good. Well, cookies are good, and mommies are wise, and life is as meaningful as we make it. Just like no one sat me down to tell me that I could empower myself, no one sat little Wren down and told her to like cookies, or to believe in her mother's wisdom, or to empower her little self to manipulate her tutu into giving her a treat. Empowerment isn't handed over, it's discovered in countless ways. But the journey always leads to the same destination. Dad didn't tell me I could catch a fish. He sat with me while I fished. Zeta held a self-imposed boundary. She decided that her integrity to finish the job she started was more important than her momentary discomfort. No one can tell you what you are capable of doing. You know. Soul deep, you know. Still, it's nice to be reminded every once in a while by someone who truly believes in you, and I do. I do. I believe in your goodness, your brilliance, and in the fact that you're enshrined in a circle of empowerment, an inherent force for good. And as you soar eagle high, know that I'll be looking up, expecting great things from you, and I hope that you'll be looking to the same source of your truest, strongest power. It's there. Everything you need to become anyone you want to be. Here's the secret. It comes from an ancient Greek philosopher. When you want to find your inherent power, the truest answers, all you have to do is inquire within. Thank you, and soar high, my friends. Soar high.